Hi, it's Kristine and welcome back to my channel. So if you're new here, I am a 4th year medical student or a clinical clerk from UST MED. And for today's video, I will show you guys an updated version of what's on my iPad. So I've already done a what's on my iPad back in 2020 last year with my old iPad. So recently, I purchased the iPad Pro with the M1 chip 2021. So for today, I will be showing you guys the applications that I use for med school. So honestly, there are really minimal apps that have changed on my old what's on my iPad video, but still I want to be able to show you guys the updated version. So I did that video back when I was in 2nd year med, and right now I'm already in 4th year. So there are some apps that I stopped using and there are some new apps right here. Alright, okay, so before anything else, this is my lock screen wallpaper and I got this from Pinterest. So basically, this is the first page of my iPad. So here on the left, you can see my calendar, my to-do list. By the way, I am already on my neuropsych rotation. The first 2 weeks will be focused on neuro and then the next 2 weeks will be focused on psych. Yeah, so it's currently August 25. I have customized my widgets using Widgetsmith, this app right here. And then I also added my Google Calendar widget because all of my classes are there. Our G calendar is controlled by one person in the group, wherein it is shared within the whole subgroup. All of the members of the subgroup gets to see the synced calendar. The first page basically are the apps that I don't really use for med school. So we have here my photo and video, and then my socials, and then we also have lifestyle. So basically apps that I don't really need for med school. And then we have here the second page where it contains almost all of the apps that I use. I told myself that I will be using this iPad only for studying and med school purposes. I divided my apps into 3 folders: the productivity, the med school apps, and the Google apps. I also have Spotify here because I cannot study without music. For the productivity apps, these are the apps that I use to study. So let's go over to the first app, which is the sponsor for today's video, which is PDF Element. So basically, PDF Element is an app where you can annotate several PDFs. So as for me, I am using this app for my PDF copy of my book. I really like the highlighter of this one because it has sharp edges, like as you can see with the physical highlighters. So I am gonna show you how I highlight with this one. So let's go to a page. Okay, so for example, this one. So this is the tool for the highlighting, and there are different colors that you can use. And if you don't want the colors over here, you can use this wheel and you can just simply move over the cursor and you can choose a color that you prefer. For example, this one, as you can see, it really recognizes the text that you are highlighting. So I really like this if I prefer a cleaner look of my book. Then you can also use the strike through if you don't want any words like that. So as you can see, if I try to write it on an area where there are no words, it won't work. The PDF Element really recognizes the text inside the PDF. And then you can also use the underline like that. So basically, I really like using this app for my book since I want my PDF books to have a clean look. And then if ever you want to write on the side, you can also use that, and you can also change the color. You can also change the thickness and the opacity of the pen. And it writes perfectly well. You can also add text here at the side. You can just add text easily right there. And in addition to this, you can add text within the text. For example, I am simply gonna tap the text that I want to add something to. For example, I want to write here that this is important. It also mimics the font. It mimics the color of the text. So it's very easy to use. You can also add images once you click the image feature here. And if you just want to save it, just click save. Okay, so next we have GoodNotes 5. So I am a huge fan of GoodNotes. So basically, this is where I write down all of my notes. So as you can see here, I have my own notebook right here. So this is a scanned copy of my notes back in second year. I can also scan documents using this app just by clicking the thumbnails there, and then you can click the add here, and then you can choose a lot of options if you want to add an image, if you want to add the current template, if you want to scan a document or take a photo. So as you can see, it can act as a physical notebook. I have been using this for the longest time already, ever since I got my first iPad. This is the note-taking app that I really use. You can also change the thickness, and you have an eraser, you have a highlighter, you can highlight in any manner. So you can also add a sticky note here, which is a new feature of the GoodNotes 5. And you also have this laser that you can show if you are using your iPad for sharing screen. So I have been a huge fan of GoodNotes 5. If you have been watching my vlogs ever since I started vlogging, you can see that this has been the app that has been with me all throughout my med journey. It has helped me a lot in med school. I really recommend GoodNotes 5. And then I also have Notion, although I haven't set up my Notion here on my iPad, since I would usually use Notion on my laptop and on my desktop. But basically, Notion is the app where I keep my notes when I feel like typing down my notes. If I feel like typing down my notes, I just open my Notion. I don't open Word or Google Docs anymore. And all of my to-do lists and schedules are also there. So maybe I will have a different video for my Notion tour. Okay, so next we have Quizlet. So ever since college, ever since my BS pharmacy days, this is the app that I use for testing my knowledge on my memorization. This is a flashcard app. Although the downside of this one is that it would usually take some time for you to do the flashcards, but I am telling you guys, once you have your flashcards ready and the only thing you have to do is to study the flashcards, it is really helpful. It has been very helpful for me when it comes to tests that requires memorizing. BS Pharmacy had a lot of memorization, especially with the drugs and medications. This app, you can use this also on your phone. The information that you have on your iPad will sync on your phone. So if I am too lazy to open my iPad, I just open my phone and then use the flashcards there. You can use photos as well. This is the app that I use to study for my practicals. So first year, second year, you will have a lot of practical exams in med school, especially in parasitology, microbiology, and it's really helpful since our practical exam back in second year med was a moving practical exam where we have to identify everything. For example, let's click this one. So you have flashcards, write, match, and test. So for the test, basically you will have a multiple choice. For the match, you will have a matching type of exam. For the write, this is very useful for identification since the Quizlet app is really strict with the spelling and all. Then for the flashcards, of course, the usual click and then you will see the meaning at the back. Next, I have here words. So I just keep the word app on my iPad because some files that are given by the professors are in a document file. Also, when I have patient write-ups in my laptop and I want to do it in my iPad, it will automatically sync. Next, we have Epson iPrint. So Epson iPrint is basically the app that I use to connect my iPad to my wireless printer. So basically, everything that I want to be printed from my iPad will automatically be printed on my printer. So for our next folder, we have med school apps. So here we have Lockdown Browser, the browser that my university uses when taking our exam. So it is an app where you cannot open different apps, so it will lock the screen of your iPad so that it is the only thing that you can open. Okay, so next we have Ambos and UpToDate, my lifesavers in medical school, the must-have applications for med school. So Ambos basically is a library for med school. Ambos is a very reliable source. So as you can see here, If you click the clinical knowledge, the different specializations are here. So for example, I just finished my ENT rotation, my first ever rotation for 4th year. I can click on that one, and if I need to check on the different diseases of the salivary glands, I can just click this one and the different diseases will appear there. So for example, let us click on the Sjogren syndrome, and it will show you the summary, epidemiology, etiology, clinical features, and so on and so forth. This is very good in giving you a crash course on the different diseases. Although this will not suffice for the chapter readings in our book, this is just a supplement to our books. Okay, next we have up-to-date. So ambos shows a much summarized information on the different diseases. Up-to-date is a much longer one since it has different articles, journals, books embedded in the information. If I really need more reading on the disease, on the treatment, on the diagnostics, I would usually open up-to-date. But then again, ambos and up-to-date will not suffice for the readings in our book references. Okay, next we have Medscape. I haven't really set up my Medscape, although I usually use Medscape in the websites on my laptop and on my desktop. And then next we have Diagnosis. This is an app where you can answer and study real cases of different patients, and at the same time, at the end of the quiz, you get to earn real money. Lastly, for the med school folder, we have Essential Anatomy 5. So yes, until now, I am using this one. This is like a virtual cadaver. It shows the human body, the different organs, skeleton, muscles in a 3D format. So you get to rotate the skeleton like that. And if you want to add muscles, you just click the muscle button here. If you want to see the skin, you click the skin. You can choose from the different buttons here on the right side. So you have here the lymphatic system, the urogenital system, the digestive system, respiratory, connective tissue, nervous, veins, arteries, the muscles, and the skin. And if, for example, you want to focus on a certain muscle, you just click that muscle and then you isolate it. And then you can also rotate that one, and you can see the origin, insertion, action, nerve supply, artery supply of this one here. And you can do that for the different organs as well, not just for the muscle. For example, in our respiratory system, you can click on the lung and then you can isolate that one. And then if you want to see the whole human body again, you just go back. Again, anatomy is very visual. I really cannot memorize anatomy simply by reading. I really have to see what I am reading about. Lastly, for the Google folder, this is not sponsored by Google, but I really love the Google app. So I have Google Drive, Google Slides, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Classroom. Some of our professors would put our curriculum in our Google Classroom, and some professors would prefer to meet via Google Meet. And of course, we have our Google Calendar. As what I said a while ago, all of our activities, our classes are controlled by one person in our group. So Google Drive is the application where us students keep our files. Google Slides, basically this is where we do our PowerPoints. So these are example of our PowerPoints, of our case discussions. That is the app where we get to edit the PowerPoint simultaneously. Google Docs is just like a Google version of the Word app. This is where we edit all our worksheets. If we have to make worksheets by a group and we have to edit it simultaneously. For the Google Sheet, it is a spreadsheet similar to our Excel. Basically, that is it for my what's on my iPad. There are fewer apps compared to my old iPad since I want to keep this iPad decluttered. I want to keep this iPad with minimal apps as possible to avoid distractions. So as you can see, for my socials, I only have a few apps, and it's really just the Messenger because this is where my academic announcements come in. So all of our group chats for our different case discussions, different subjects are all there. For the Zoom, of course, that is where we conduct our classes. And then Discord is where me and my friends study, and I also made a server for us Chris Squad. So I will be putting it in the description box below where you can study with me. And yeah, that's about it for the apps that I use. And yeah, that's about it for this video as well. So I haven't been vlogging that much lately because our schedule for 4-hour neuro rotation is really tiring. My schedule is 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. and we have a lot of case discussions, and I really wanted to concentrate on that one first. Our neuro rotation will already end next week, and we are about to enter psych. So everything is really fast. I have already finished almost 4 rotations. I do hope that you guys enjoyed watching this video, this updated version of what's on my iPad. And if you do like this video, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel to be part of the #Krispod. And I will see you on the next one. Bye!
She's a Mona Lisa. Everyone's lining up to see her. There must be something about her features.